Hey guys, it's Roderick. I'm here with another review of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 8, Coffee Talk. So, welcome back. I'm going to do this review a little differently, or we hit all the points, whatever, but I'm going to break it into context, right? So I'm going to give you two terms I'm going to seed in your mind for this review, right? Because this episode should not be called Coffee Talk. It actually should be called Empathy and Hearsay, right? So you go, why? Here it is. Empathy really is the psychological identification or vicarious experiencing of emotions, thoughts, or attitudes of another. Empathy, right? Now, our next term is hearsay, right? So we have the colloquial hearsay that we hear in terms like, oh, that's hearsay, which is an unverified, unofficial information gained or acquired from another and not part of one's direct knowledge, right? I'm going to add another layer to that, which is also what is known as legal hearsay. Now, legal hearsay, in the court, you may watch Judge Judy, or you may have had a courtroom experiences yourself, right? So legal hearsay is when there is a it is called a out-of-court statement asserted for its truth, right? So, for example, you get in a car accident, right? The person and some person hits you, right? You're like, that person was drunk. And then during the course of the proceedings, so a witness comes forward and says, the bartender told me that he was drunk when he left the bar. Bartender's not in court. That's hearsay. That's not admissible. If the person says, that person told me, yeah, I was shit-faced, I shouldn't have been driving, that's not hearsay because the person who said the statement is a party to the action and their statements can be verified through direct or cross-examination. I'm going to see these 2 points. We'll get to those a little later. But that is what this episode should be called. Now, overall, this episode was right? But it's also what's known as the midpoint episode. So the midpoint in films or docuseries or documentaries is when there's two halves to the story, right? So the first part of the story, we set up our storylines, we set up our inciting incidents, we set up exactly where the characters are trying to go, right? In the midpoint, in a movie or a film, television show, is where now the characters are on the way to the journey. We get an idea of what the obstacles are, but now there's going to be some new information and new things happening, right? So as for a midpoint episode, it did its job. Barely, right? Because production really fell down on this episode because we could see a lot of their machinations and a lot of their shortcomings as far as the narrative. What are you talking about? Let's talk about the first issue, right? So we'll knock this first one out. The whole Dina Dolores bridesmaid situation. For those of you who are new to the Housewives franchise, Dina Manzo was one of the original housewives on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. She is the sister of Carolyn Manzo, who was the original cast member, and the sister-in-law of Jacqueline Larita, who is married to Dina and Caroline's brother. The Manzos who loomed very large over this franchise when this first was conceived, right? Because you had Caroline, you had Dina, you had the brother, you had their children, and Teresa and Danielle Staub were kind of like on the secondary tier, right? So anyway, nevertheless, Dina left the show after a couple of seasons. She came back for another season. Her and Teresa were always really good friends, right? So what we find out in this episode is that somehow there was a Pizzagate 2 involving Dina's husband and Louis, right? And because of this fallout, Dina is no longer going to be in the wedding, and her and Teresa have had this whole falling out. We also then find out is that Dina and Dolores have a situation, right? Which is why Dolores was not at the engagement party because Dina was there. None of us have time to go back and rewatch old seasons to suss out what the problem was between Dina and Dolores. Because as I can recall, Dina and Dolores weren't really on the show at the same time. And if they were, we don't really remember what there was. And a lot of it was a lot of blog hearsay happening outside the show. So what the producers should have done is, if Dolores was not going to speak on the situation, instead of that bullshit ass conversation she had with Danielle, right? She should have been like, oh girl, I can't believe what's going on with my wedding. My best friend Dina is going to be in her, and should have provided some exposition as to what was going on with the Dina situation. So either the producers were incompetent or unable to get that, because even if Teresa didn't want to talk about it, even if Dolores didn't want to talk about it, somebody who had direct knowledge of that conversation, that situation, should have talked about it, because that whole situation has contaminated the storyline, right? And so you can't really do that when you're telling a story, because everyone's like, well, where's Dina? Why isn't this happening? Like, it makes everything happen sequentially kind of out of order and really raises the shadow. So that's a production problem, right? So that's because whatever happened outside of filming, and nobody's willing to provide exposition as to what's that's happening. So it kind of left a kind of taste in your mouth with this episode, because we really needed to be filled in on what exactly was this Dina situation, flashbacks, exposition, and really fill us in, as opposed to this bullshit ass Turkish Mrs. Cleo shit that happened at the end of the episode, right? So, okay, let's go on. So we get to Frank and Dolores in the intro. Again, Dolores is still earning her MVP points with this whole relationship with Paulie. She's staying consistent with her relationship with Frank. And as I have said before, Paulie has Frank's number. Heart situation or not, Paulie does not want to fuck with Frank, right? He's not built that way. That's not where he's like, doesn't really believe in that. And he's not really trying to fuck with Frank. And Dolores ain't trying to, because as I've also said, these Frank and Paulie and Brittany scenes are coming out of Dolores' pocket, right? So she's just like, fine, you don't want to fuck with them, I don't want to fuck with them. It's totally fine. But Paulie really has Frank's number and really kind of is on point with, okay, I think Frank is trying to get you back or really misses you, whatever. And Dolores is just going to have to realize that fat meat is greasy and men know other men, right? So I was like, okay, fine. So we get to Rachel Fuda, who I have, again, consistently am liking, right? Like, she's not giving me too much. She's not giving me too little. I like her family. Her daughters are so adorable. Her family, the husband, loving Rachel Fuda, right? Then we get to this whole thing which the producers are like, okay, what's your storyline going to be? Okay. Rachel Fuda wants to adopt her stepson, which on its face seems fairly reasonable if you've been the person who's mainly raising them. I'm not going to talk in anybody's family situation. I think, however, I look at this situation a little differently, because there's a difference between dating someone and being like, I want the title of girlfriend because I'm doing all the things that a girlfriend should do. And I want the title as wife because I'm doing all the things that a wife should do. Then I want the title as mother because I'm doing all the things that your mother should be doing and your mother is still alive and around, right? If Jaden's mother had passed on and she wasn't with us anymore, then Rachel adopting Jaden would be like, okay, fine, that totally makes sense. Like if Jaden's mother had died in childbirth or some tragic accident or was no longer with us, that would be totally reasonable. But I just have to kind of side-eye displacing another person and taking away their parental rights just for the sake that you can have that legal title, right? The legal title means nothing. If something happens to Rachel, Rachel has a will, she can inherit, she can leave anything to Jaden that she wants without him being her legal son. You know, she still have all these legal rights of having Jaden. She's the custodial parent. Sure, she may not be able to interfere with his medical proceedings in the case that, like, her husband's not there, but that could be done with a simple power of attorney or those type of documents, right? There are other ways you could do without wholesaling taking away this woman's legal rights. I also understand the other side of the argument. If this woman had a child, was not participating in this child's life, wasn't feeding them, loving them, nurturing them, why should this woman get the title of mother when I've been doing all the motherly work? I understand both sides of the argument. It nets zero for me. And in those situations, when it nets zero, I just always retreat to just let it be what it is, right? But I'm also not a woman and I'm also don't have kids. But that type of thing, I would have been like, okay, fine. But that's not even a big enough chicken to fry, quite frankly. So I'm like, okay, girl, do what you do, right? We'll see how this goes, right? So Dolores and Jen have their sit down. Now, Jen tells on herself as to why she wants to have this sit down. It's not because she's no longer mad at Dolores. It's not because she had a change of heart. It's because she does not want Dolores as an enemy, right? And the fact is that I think wholeheartedly Teresa's in the background, because remember, this is a proxy war that's going on this season, right? Teresa versus Margaret, right? Which we'll see later how that kind of plays out. But Teresa's like, look, Dolores is my ride or die. I've known her for day one. I can't have you having some bullshit and us still fuck with each other, right? So you're going to have to go make this right. But so Teresa, she said, look, bitch, they bigger chickens to fry, right? So you need to squash this shit with Dolores because I'm not going to be fuck with you like I am and you not getting around Dolores. Because the way in which Dolores moves is, if she doesn't fuck with you, she won't be around you. She won't be there. And Dolores ain't really got to Dolores can leave or take these bitches, right? So she's like, nah. You need to squash and make this right. Let me tell you how to do this. So they have this sit down. And Jen, and to Jen's benefit, she's like, okay, I really felt hurt by this. I don't consider loyalty to be this. Dolores is like, I didn't know you're that upset about it. If I had known, I would have moved differently. I totally love Dolores' explanation of this, right? Because notice Dolores did not apologize for what she did. She just said, moving forward, I will treat you and talk to you differently. That's all you can ask for in a person in that type of situation. Dolores doesn't say, I was sorry for what I was said. She's not saying, whatever I did. She's like, okay, fine. I didn't know. You should have come and told me, not moving around talking to other people and not, whatever, because I don't do with all this other talky shit around me. Come tell me, I will either adjust or not adjust, and then you can move forward with that. So I was just like, again, 5 points to Gryffindor to Dolores, because once again, she's like, this is how I move, and you should move different, and I'm just gonna move differently with her. So I was like, okay, fine. Now Jen Aiden starts talking to Dolores about her situation with Bill. And again, zero sympathies, right? There is a tremendous upside to marrying a successful, rich physician, right? There are all these material benefits, all these societal benefits, all these self-esteem benefits. Jennifer Aiden wanted all of those. Now, Bill intentionally chose an unambitious woman, right? Which is nothing wrong with being unambitious, but Bill didn't meet Jennifer while she was in law school, or while she was in med school, or while she was in dentistry school, or anything else. He wanted someone who was not going to have a career as hectic as his, so she can cater to him and take care of her children, right? And you said yes to that. I'm not saying you can't renegotiate your marital contract. I'm saying you can't renegotiate your marital contract and not cost you something, right? And there not be a drawback, right? Because if Bill's like, well, fine then. If you want me to be home more with the kids and be more active with the kids and be more involved and not being scolding and being more understanding, then all that energy I'm taking and giving to you and your bullshit ain't going to go to these patients making us hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. So cut back on the Chanel, cut back on the trips, cut back on the whatevers, and I can do all this other bullshit you asking me. Otherwise, find a way to motherfucking deal with it. And that's just where I sit with Jennifer Aiden, and I stand on it, right? Like, there are lots of people out here who would love to have a man like Bill. Don't bother me, don't muck with me, whatever. I ain't cause no problems. Raise your kids, rub your feet, make sure your food's done. I don't even got to cook the food. I just got to hire a bitch to cook your food, and that's all I got to do? Sorry, again, no sympathy for Jennifer Aiden, okay? So then we get to Joe and Melissa, and then this is where we first get the first inclinations about this pizza game with Dina's boyfriend or whatever. The house looks cute, by the way, but I'm like, why are you getting that big a house and your kid's about to be out the house in a few years, right? Like, I don't understand that, but again, whatever. Married people in their houses. Like, houses are big to like married white women for some reason, because that's a symbol that they made it. I think this is you made it, the motherfucker, they ain't like do you dirty in public, but our standards are different, right? Not to say that Joe is doing that, but standards are different. So the house looks cute. She's going in about that. She's going to do this pop-up with Danielle for her kitty line, which I think is a very nice thing, right? This is empathy. This is Melissa showing empathy, being like, I understand that, like, where you are. So let's get to the empathy piece, right? Because then then we get this whole this intercut, which is two scenes going back and forth between Danielle talking to Teresa and then Joe and Melissa talking about Louis and what happened at the shore. Here is the problem with the Battle of the Gorgas in the cast of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. There is no empathy. Nobody can place themselves in the other person's shoes to understand where they're coming from, why they're feeling what they're feeling, without trying to add some validation to it, right? In the sense of the Battle of the Gorgas, everyone's competing for the you hurt me the most gold medal, right? I got hurt the most. My feelings were hurt the most. You did me wrong the most, right? Nobody is placing themselves in the other person's shoes. Joe isn't able to place himself in Teresa's shoes. Teresa isn't able to place herself in Joe's shoes. Melissa can't place herself in Teresa's shoes. Melissa can't place herself in Joe's shoes. Everyone's just all competing on the I got hurt the most, you did me wrong the most. There's just no empathy. There's no sense of kindness at all, even in the face of of what you could arguably say is some treacherous, hurtful acts, there's no sense of empathy for these people, right? Which makes this so unbelievable, because the truth of the matter is, right, just real tea, take all this reality bullshit out the way. If something happened to Joe, Teresa would feel far worse about the loss of her brother than the bullshit she's talking about with Joe now. If something happened to Teresa, Joe would regret all the time he wasted arguing with Teresa as opposed to enjoying his sister since she's no longer here on this earth. I'm not trying to proclaim, predict, hope depth on anybody, but we all know, at least since the pandemic, that life is capricious. Life is short. Life is precious. And why? And the fact is, the real tea is, the reason Teresa could not forgive her ex-husband is because her mother died shortly after she got out of prison, and she could not forgive her husband at the time for all the time she lost that she could have spent with her mother. So why would you want to recreate that with your sibling? Regardless of who's right, regardless of who's wrong, the question is this: can you put them in the grave with the bullshit you're dealing with now? If you can put somebody in the grave with the bullshit you're dealing with them, then keep moving the way you're moving. If you cannot do that, then you need to decide to get over it. It's not about feeling like you want to get over it. It is not waking up and saying my feelings don't feel like get over it. Decide to get over it, and you will get over it, right? So that's the whole issue with empathy. And this issue kind of trails on when the girls were dealing with Danielle. So we're going to jump to this Danielle at the back end to conversation, right? Now, I will give credit where credit is due. Jennifer Aiden was 100% correct. If someone tells me about a situation where I'm in pain, my job is to empathize and sympathize with the person, not be Inspector Gadget about whatever. If the story does not make sense, right, then you just be like, okay, girl, I hope that's okay, and you move on, right? So the problem is that the producers of this show, of these franchises, have conditioned the castmates for their first inclination is confrontation and fight and not empathy, right? So you can do both. You can empathize with someone who has done you wrong, put them together and move on, as opposed to fighting with someone and unable to have empathy, right? Now, let me get on Danielle real quick. When Danielle's talking to Teresa and they're going back and forth, Danielle does not realize is that this is what this show is all about, right? So in the real world, right, when people move and people say things about you, you have to put up this armor and not be bothered, right? You can't be phased. You be like, fuck you, bitch. You ain't fucking me. You ain't pay my bills, whatever. Danielle wants to keep that same energy on this show, and you can do that. But it's hard to, but Danielle cannot be unbothered and be vulnerable at the same time. That's her problem, right? Because the producer's like, bitch, you can't be storming out every time you get to argue with these people, because otherwise the fuck are you doing here, right? That's the problem. They gave her a strong ass talking to, being like, you are on this show to sit through and sift through conflict. So you cannot get up and leave when you start to have a conflict with somebody. Danielle's like, I don't let random bitches just talk greasy to me all the time. So the fact is, I left because I was getting super angry. The producers are like, two things can occur at the same time and be mutually exclusive. You could be hurt that your friends have done this. You could empathize why they are saying this. And you could also let them know that they shouldn't do this. And you could do the whole thing with being vulnerable and showing up authentically, right? And the fact is, Danielle needs to put these equations together, put these coefficients together, put these factorials together, and realize, no, we're not saying that you can let these bitches talk crazy to you. No, I'm not saying that they should just be disrespectful to you, but you should show up, be authentic, let your emotions fly, and then get the fuck over it. See what I'm saying? Excuse me. Now we get to the hokey pokey part of this whole episode, right? This coffee reading, which at the first point, I thought it was good. I was like, okay, that seems cute. Whatever. Oh, sorry. They go to Ireland, but we knew that from the teaser. So whatever. Okay. So Paulie's house is gorgeous. Like, I love that modern look. I love it. Whenever like married people talk about 50 Shades of Grey, like that just reveals the fact they have like no sex life, because 50 Shades of Grey was not all that scintillating. Like, that's like Sex on a Tuesday in my 30s, when I was in my 30s. Like, that's like nothing. Like, that you just 50 Shades of Grey should not be the baseline point line if you're not getting any, right? Like, there are far more exciting things in this world. So anyway, anytime someone says that, I was like, ooh, girl, that means you're not getting any. Anywho, so the girls show up and they kind of like go start talking again about Danielle and this whole situation. And again, Jennifer Aiden, I have to give her credit. She was right. There's no empathy. You girls are fucking mean. Then we get to the Miss Cleo part of this whole thing, right? So we get to, which, if it was not a reality television show and this franchise did not have a kind of specious reputation of planting information and getting things done, you would be like, okay, because like the first was like, oh, Dolores Catania, we think you're going to get a ring. Dolores is like, and you see Paulie back there like, the fuck? Which is, first of all, it's hilarious that Paulie is back here hiding around, okay, like Anne Frank in his own house, because he don't want to be a part of this producer bullshit, but he's also making sure these bitches don't get too sidewaysy in his house and break his shit. Like that, because Paulie could have just left, right? But Paulie's like, nah. I will dead this whole scene at the first crack of glass with these bitches, okay? Which is why Dolores threw them the fuck out at the end, because she was like, y'all getting too hot and heavy. Y'all ain't fucking up my good dick. You ain't fucking up my nice house. Take y'all bullshit back to Secaucus, back to Franklin Lakes, back to Hoboken, or where the fuck, but get the fuck up out of my house, right? Anyway, so she just starts off and she does like Danielle, Dolores, oh, I see a ring in your future. And everyone like gets all teary, starts to cry. Okay, whatever. Okay, good for Dolores. She gets married to Paulie. And then we get to Margaret and the person with the L and the Laura thing. And I'm like, bitch, them tea leaves are speaking a lot for some Turkish coffee beans or whatever. They were talking a whole fucking lot. So we're like, okay, maybe. And you'll never hear me say this more than 3 times in a lifetime, but I was kind of right with Jackie, being like, bitch. So then she gets on Margaret, right? So there's Margaret. Then she does, Jen Aiden, right? And she was just like, oh, and then she started doing the whole endorsements. And I was like, okay, you playing in my motherfucking face, right? So now you're just playing in our faces at this point. It's because why did they not do the reading in the beginning and they do the food shit bullshit at the end, right? Because producers had to talk to her and be like, okay, the blonde chick, make sure you mention her brother. When you talk to Jen Aiden, make sure you mention endorsements. Dolores, make sure you mention a ring, Danielle, make sure you mention something about her brother, right? Because I ain't believing half a cup of Turkish coffee was speaking more of that. Quite frankly, I don't even participate and believe in that type of shit, because I just believe that has a demonic element to it. And I believe that all you need is the Lord Jesus Christ anyway. But not everybody does that. But I sure as hell, like that scene, I would have pulled a Danielle, I would have left, right? I would have been there for no talkie, coffee, whatever scenes anyway, like some looking at coffee beans and shit like that anyway. Because quite frankly, if I was Bill, I would feel some sort of way that you're running around talking to everybody about all the shit I ain't doing in our marriage. Because you know what I can't stop doing in our marriage? Fucking paying for your bullshit, right? So if you don't like what I'm doing, how about I just stop doing everything I'm motherfucking doing anyway, and you fucking live off these Real Housewives checks and see how fucking far that fucking goes, right? But that's just me. The Lord is still working on me. It's Holy Week. Pray for me. Anyway, that's our episode. Not that much, but I still, the hearsay element. Oops, sorry, I almost forgot about the hearsay part of it. Sorry. Okay, so here's the thing with Danielle. My note sheet fell on the floor and I'm not dropping down to pick it up. So that's how I totally forgot about the hearsay thing. Here's the hearsay element, right? Danielle is upset with Rachel Fuda because Rachel Fuda went back and repeated what Danielle said to her to Marge, right? Now, Danielle is upset, not that she said it, but that Rachel Fuda went back and said something, right? Because in Danielle's mind, it reveals something it reveals an untrustworthy trait, right? Rachel Fuda does not care, right? Because don't say things that you don't want repeated. That's the crux of Rachel Fuda's argument, right? If you said it, I just repeated what you said. I didn't think it was all that bad. If you feel some sort of way, watch what the fuck you say, right? But it's this kind of, again, faux drama, right? Because really the producers are like, you two bitches are gonna have to jump in, right? Like, I know you all don't want to get involved in old fights, but you're going to have to jump in, right? And so that really is what's going on, right? Because this is really, again, a nothing burger, because this is not hearsay. Danielle said it. Danielle is here. Danielle does not deny she said it. So there's nothing about this. Now, Marge, who's not new to this but true to this, knows that she can build some extra money off this by being like, stop seating people around for what I said. Girl, we know the game, right? But Marge has to make sure she gets her 1-2 cha-cha-cha in too, just to make sure she's going to get her coins. Because remember, they're paid by their appearance for every episode, right? So Marge makes sure she sprinkles her extra little whatever on top of it. But this bullshit cake is nothing, right? Which is why, and the problem is, and this is again, Danielle's inability or her newness to this genre or to this medium, right? The better conversation or statement for Danielle to make was the reason why, because in her confessional, she goes, this is why I feel this way. I was really bullied. I was hung up. That's why she's triggered, right? So bring your trigger and your trauma. No, don't bring your triggers and your trauma to the show, right? Confront them and say, this is why I feel that way. I'm not saying that you bullied me, but I felt that way. So when I bring you things, just be more delicate with how you treat my personal things. That is a true, authentic, emotionally intelligent moment. But Danielle, again, could not put these things together to be able to say, this was what's going on, right? All the women are seeing is her being angry, right? Now they've watched the episode and understood why she feels the way that she's feeling. But the fact is, between the shore, before the incident at the shore and the dinner at Dolores's, she could have been like, okay, look, this is why I'm feeling the way I felt, right? I've been bullied a lot of my lifetime. I've felt invalidated a lot of times in my life. And when you all did that, that's how that made me feel. That's why I felt the way that I feel, right? I don't have to explain anything else to you about my brother. I brought it to you all because I thought you are a safe place to bring it to. Obviously, I'm wrong. Taking a page out of Dolores' book, I will move differently with you bitches next time. And that's how she could have done it, right? And that could have squashed it. And if Jackie wanted to jump in and say, well, it doesn't make sense, and Jennifer Fessler is like, well, I just didn't understand it, bitch, get a crossword puzzle and a pen and figure it out yourselves. Because that would have been the dead of the situation after I told you how I felt, why I felt about it, how you disrespected me, and how I expect for you to move in the future. That would have been it. That would have been it. And Danielle needs to learn that you just can't show the anger without the undercurrent of why you're angry, because these bitches don't know you, right? So that's all. So that was the hearsay part of it, is because she was making it sound like it was like, you made it seem like, nah, Danielle's like, I just repeated what you said. Yeah, should you move differently with Rachel? Absolutely, but excuse me, these bitches. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.